How do you guys know me? I'm a big basketball fan. I love NBA trade deadline. I love the All-Star weekend. I love any time there's a big trade. Woo. But yes, today was NBA trade deadline day. I know most of you don't care about basketball, but this is what's on my mind, and this is what this channel is now. It's whatever's on my mind, and I wanted to take a couple minutes out of the day to talk about this while it's fresh on my mind. Two big trades. I mean, there's several big trades, but the two biggest, one involved my Mavericks, my Mavericks, who, you know, and then the Nets in Philadelphia with James Harden swapping with Simmons over there. So let's talk about that one first. Brooklyn getting Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and then like some first round picks, one in 2022 and one in 2027. Jeez Louise. And Philadelphia getting James Harden and Paul Millsap. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I'm not a huge Ben Simmons fan. I'm not a fan of anybody who can't shoot in today's NBA. And today's NBA, when you look at the shot charts, everything's at the rim or everything's from deep. And then there's a little bit of mid-range game, which is a total lost art in today's NBA. But obviously, James Harden has been on a pretty good decline. I think he's been injured or something, but he's not the James Harden from Houston a couple years ago. And it was interesting to see how the Nets have essentially imploded this year, losing like the last 8 games or eight or nine. They had a really rough stretch recently. Just watching from afar, man, it's been really kind of crazy to see. But for them, I feel like this is a panic move, right? It's like we're going to change because we need to change. And what was interesting to see was how leading up to this, it was the Nets saying, no, we're not trading Harden. Okay. That's one of those things where you see that happen all the time, where some sort of team or organization saying we're not going to do this, and then 12 hours later they immediately do it. And I just don't live in that world. I'm not expecting them to be totally honest all the time, but I know it's not their job to think of the children, but I always think of the kid with the Harden jersey, right? And it's funny because I always thought that there's this promotion with like MasterCard or Visa or something. One of those credit cards where if you have the teams, if you have like a team jersey or something, they'll replace the if your favorite player gets traded, they'll replace the jersey with the new jersey on the team or something. And I was like, that's never going to happen, but that happened today, and James Harden was traded. But I think the kicker with this was Brooklyn getting Seth Curry. Seth Curry played for the Mavericks, obviously not Steph Curry, but his brother. But Seth Curry is an awesome player, man. He wherever he goes, he has been successful. Whether it's in Philadelphia, whether it's in Dallas, or whether it was in Portland when he was there for a while. I wish Seth Curry was on the Mavericks. The Mavericks' recent little dip, they had a really good team a couple years ago, and then they let go of, they traded Seth Curry to Philadelphia, and he's been great. He's been great, and I think he's going to be awesome for Brooklyn. They also got Andre Drummond, who was an all-star like several years ago. Just a big old body in there. And they get first-round picks, once again, for James Harden and Paul Millsap. I think it's an interesting move for Philadelphia because they essentially traded away one player that is supposed to be a big stone masterpiece of their franchise. And they got back a player that has been a former MVP, obviously aging. He's not the same player he was 5 years ago. But I think he'll certainly contribute to Philadelphia. But isn't it amazing to think all the different teams that James Harden has played for? And I'm probably going to miss it. So we had the Rockets, we had originally Oklahoma City, the Nets, and now Philadelphia. And I may have missed one in there. But it's amazing to see how superstars, they're just tossed around the league. They're just tossed around the league. So you think about like what Dirk did a few years ago and staying with an entire franchise for 22 years. I think that's amazing. Even Kevin Garnett played for 2 or 3 or 4 teams. Shaq played for 6, 7, 8 teams. That's crazy to think about. Crazy. So speaking of big trades, so my thoughts overall, I think Philadelphia will still be exceptionally good. I do think that Ben Simmons will suddenly feel okay about his mental health and be ready to play. It's amazing how that's going to work out. He may take a couple days just for the show and dog and pony show, but I think all of a sudden, I think Ben Simmons is going to be really mentally strong and ready to go once he gets to Brooklyn. So we'll see how that goes. I would love to see these two teams play in the playoffs. The other trade, which affects my team, which is the Mavericks trading away Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn. Tim Legler had a great line about how Porzingis was, he's this unicorn because of his skill set, but he's also a unicorn because you never see him. And that's how it feels as a Mavericks fan. I feel like the Mavericks' best basketball has been played without Porzingis on the court. So if you're essentially trading away a nothing, and getting back Spencer Dinwiddie, who is coming off an ACL injury, I'm not super familiar with his game, but I know he averaged 20 for Brooklyn a couple years ago, coming from Washington now, averaging like 13 a game. The way he was described to me by my buddy was that he's essentially a larger version of Jalen Brunson. And Brunson's probably going to be leaving after this year because he's a really good player. I love Jalen Brunson. He's an exceptional basketball player and just an overall gamer, man. That guy will win you basketball games. Former college basketball player of the year, but he probably won't resign for the Mavericks this offseason, and that sucks. So it's kind of a transitional move for the Mavericks, I think. Obviously, Washington gets Porzingis and a future second-round pick. Porzingis is about as good as you can be with about as average ability as he has. I think Porzingis is an average player that is exceptionally big, right? And I think that he's maxed out his average ability to be a, 6 or 7 on a scale of 10 for NBA players. He could be Kevin Durant. He's not Kevin Durant. He gets his blocks because of his size. I don't feel like he's ever had a big feel for the game. When you watch him play, I feel like he's pretty one-dimensional. He'll get a few blocks here and there, and his offensive game is really a joke. It's stand and shoot threes, and he wants to shoot from the logo. And I think he was made better by having Luka play with him when they did play, because Luka will make anybody look better. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie's going to look really good with Luka. Same with I think it's Davos Bertans. I don't know how to say his name, but Bertans is he's like your white dude who can shoot. Your stereotypical white guy who can shoot. That's him. And I guess he's having an off season, or he's been injured too. So you trade one, Bertas, and you get Bertas, which I think once again, if you watch Luka Doncic play, his job is he just finds wide open people, and it's really up to them to make the shot. And if you can have a good spot up shooter on your team, which hopefully he is like the 7th or 8th, 9th player on your team, guy coming off the bench or whatever. I think that's an exceptional deal. I think it was time to move on from KP for the Mavericks, and I think the Mavericks will really be happy with this. Just not having to deal with the rehab of KP every 2 games, and but that's the beauty of the trade deadline, is there's always the great unknown. So as far as some other trades, there's like Marvin Bagley going to the Pistons and Celtics getting people. I don't even know who these people are. I don't follow the NBA that deep. But I'll tell you this, man. Bol, son of Manute Bol, his son, getting traded to the Magic. So if I recall, I think Manute Bol's son, Bol, has played for the Nuggets, the Celtics, and now the Magic. I love Bol. I think he's awesome. I think he's hilarious. And I would love to see him get some regular playing time. Will he ever get that playing time? I don't know. He's just like too long and lanky, but he can like shoot threes, and he can block, and he can dunk standing up, and he's a little agile. So I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater, but if he can go out and score like 10 points a game, that'd be sweet. Anyways, so there are my overall thoughts. Like I said, this is just something that was on my mind. I just wanted to take a few minutes, 8 minutes and 58 seconds to talk about it and upload this really quick, because some of you might actually care. Most of you probably don't. But either way, if you did, do me a favor. I would love to hear your thoughts on these trades and all trades in the comments below, as well as thumbs up if you like watching sports. I like watching sports. It's great, man. Sports are great when it's just sports, right? Right. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys later. That's little me on a random Thursday afternoon. Bye.